we're back with another live. Here we are again talking about everything. So, open topic today. Y'all can talk about anything y'all want. And, like I said, I want to thank everybody for watching the live stream that I just talked about, the comic that I finally introduced and stuff like that. So, with that being said, y'all can go ahead and talk about whatever y'all want and stuff like that. So, yep, you already know it. Super Trash is DOA. Hell yeah. That's why you see all these James Gunn fans coming out talking all type of smack, but they can't accept the fact because they already know that the man is Zach and there's no backing up. And they already know what's up. They know what the business is, where we stand, and what we're fighting for and stuff like that. But seeing how this company is, man, I'm telling y'all straight up, it's straight up wild, wild, wild. They're just trying to justify and say, hey, yeah, the Superman is making money at the box office. No, it's not. They're still struggling, trying to make their budget, making it seem like that's what it's a big success. But we already know what's up, that it's not. But I mean, it is what it is with this company, honestly. It's in shambles, but no wonder why, because of course how they are and how they're treating these characters, and most of all how they're treating the fans, which is even more wild. Um, let's check something out. Oh, look at that! Damn, their stocks yesterday. Wow, that thing went down. They closed at 8. That's saying that they're winning, huh? How the hell? How do you say that you try to jump, justify that? You just can't. You cannot. Yeah, for sure. Super went not making no money. They're not making money, and they're just not gonna, reach that goal that they thought they were. And you got to keep in mind also, like I just posted a recent video. It's you have to remember this company with the money that they're making, and this applies to every company. It's just not WB. It's every company. Same thing with Universal, with all these people. This is why when they're making money at the box office, they have to make a lot of money because they have to split half of it with the movie theaters, and that's a big number. When you have, let's just say, $1 billion movie like WB had with Barbie and they had with Dune, they're only getting back 500 million, you know, because they split the other half with the movie theaters. And of course, you have in betweens that you have to spend and stuff, which is of course with marketing. So that's not a surprise, honestly. It's kind of embarrassing, and might as well sell the Snyderverse to Netflix. Yeah, that would be a good move, but they're not gonna do it, honestly. And I'll tell you why. Real simple, because they won't sell it, because remember in January Comcast is coming into play, and they're gonna be working with Comcast. I mean, with HBO Max, and apparently there's the rumor that's going around that they want to do alternative DC content for the streaming service. Could they do the Snyderverse on HBO Max? Hell yeah, they can do it easily. So why would they want to sell it to Netflix when they already have their streaming service? It just wouldn't make sense, honestly. I see what you're saying though, but business wise, it just wouldn't make sense to have a streaming service, but then you want to go ahead and sell your big IP, because of course we know with DC and Snyderverse, that's a big IP. Um, it just wouldn't be good for business for them to sell over to their competitor when they can do it themselves and start cashing in the sense of, what, we're going to start making money online off of our streaming service. And that's something that HBO Max has been lacking for like probably the past 2 years, since after the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League. And not only that, they also had, of course, the House of Cards or House of Dragon. I don't know what that's called now. The one with the this whole thing with the, what is it? I don't remember that IP now, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about. The one with the dragons and all that stuff. So that's one of their big IPs that they were making a lot of money with the streaming, and they were having people subscribe to them, but they haven't been doing anything with that. And of course, they have no type of DC content whatsoever on that. They should have just put Batgirl on the streaming service. I'm sure they would have made some money from that. It would have helped them helped them out a lot and stuff like that. Jeremy, what's up? Oh, your comic is looking good. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that honestly. Yeah, that's something I'm working on. Hopefully, I can have it ASAP out for y'all, stuff like that. So, finally, I was able to talk with y'all and reveal it, and that's the best part about it. It's like a relief. Like, damn, a goal that was finally accomplished. So, it will. There's more updates and stuff like that. It's gonna be coming and stuff. So, but yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. So y'all can talk about whatever y'all want right now. So you can drop your comments. I'm just reading them and stuff like that. I know it's Saturday and all that stuff. Probably some of y'all getting ready to go out, hang out and stuff like that. So that's good. And I know on other, I think like on the West Coast it's like 4, about to be 5 o'clock. So I know the time's kind of funny with this time zone and stuff like that. So I'm on the East Coast. It's 7:50 over here. Like it's literally about to be nighttime. So that's the thing when it comes with this. But yeah, that whole thing too with the Marvel. This whole Marvel MCU thing. It's like people are tired of it. Honestly, it's like people are not tired of superheroes. People are just tired of how they're portrayed and how things are being, you know, changed in this industry. People are just fed up with it, and you can't blame them. You just can't blame the fans, and people just want good entertainment. That's what these companies are not doing. They don't want to deliver good movies, good comics, good content. They just want to push something, and people are just tired of it. People are exhausted from it, and it's crazy. It's really really crazy. What's up? What's up? Dimension. I'm sorry if if I said that wrong. But yeah, what's up? What's up? All right, let's see right here. We got what is it? Bass Reeves, Bass Reeves. All right, Supergirl gonna flop hard. Hopefully they fire Gunn after that. Yeah, I think honestly, like I'm just thinking that they're just gonna ride out the contract until next year, 2026 November, because that's when his contract is up. But I don't think that WB is gonna renew it. I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. Why would they want to bring him and continue with it? Honestly, it's it's gonna be a mess. Honestly, we'll see. We gotta see. Independent comics and manga is killing it. Yeah, hell yeah. That's the future. I'm telling you, independent is going to be indies and stuff like that, indie films, indie everything, and that's what Hollywood is afraid of. They don't like independent content creators like us. They don't like it. We're a big threat to them in the way of business. They don't like that, and when they see that you're like growing and gaining, they're like, "Oh, damn, hold on, we have to start making lies about it and stuff like that." But yeah, manga and independent comics, that's the future right there, my friends. That right there is completely going to crush, and it's already crushing everything. Manga sales are through the roof. It's insane. Like you can't even keep those books at comic. I mean, not comic stores, but like in places that they sell mangas and stuff. Super shit flopping hard, and the gun cultists are doing damage control. Yeah, and they're working overtime. All these James Gunn cultists out here, they're all on overtime. They even come into this page on fake. Yeah, they create fake profiles because I got a lot of them blocked, and I'm like, how the hell are they back? Because they go back and create another account, come out, and you get what I'm saying. So it just changes and stuff like that, which is crazy, honestly. But that's what they are. They're cultists. They're the real cultists, and then they want to call us cultists. We're not cultists. We're fans. We're just passionate fans. They're not. They're cultists. They forcefully want to they want you to accept whatever they're saying and stuff like that. It doesn't work like that though. Sean, what's up? What's up? Appreciate you for watching also. Let's see what else we got. I wonder James Gunn fanboys will react that Super Trash is not gonna beat Man of Steel because Super Trash is coming out DVD digital August 15. Oh, that's right then. Oh, that's what, like 13 days. Yo, that's slop, honestly. That's straight up slop. They were like, oh, it's gonna be making 1 billion. And then all of a sudden, what? Oh no, it's gonna make 900 million. Then they keep dropping the number all the way to like what it was, like 130 million or something like that. So of course, when it surpassed that, that's how they're right now jumping for joy and saying, "Yeah, we're crushing it." What? You made back your budget? You barely made it back? Like that's what you're celebrating? 500 million, 600 million? But don't forget, you have to split that down the middle. Movie theater gets half, and the studio gets the other half. So what are you celebrating? 250 million? 300 million? Clowns, I tell you. Complete clowns. This circus act. Gunn doesn't know what to do with Batman. Nah, he doesn't. He really doesn't. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. Now that we're talking about James Gunn and Batman, hopefully James Gunn is hearing what I'm about to say, or somebody on his team or whatever. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I hope, and I'm really, really hoping that James Gunn brings in Robert Pattinson's Batman to the DCU. Hear me out. Hear me out. Some of you might be like, no, this is not. I get it. Okay, different tones and stuff like that. But just continue with what's already established. You already have a Batman. He's kind of the style of this Superman. You might as well just do it. You know, do it. Just do it. And it's kind of weird, but I would say, yeah, go ahead and bring in Batmite too while you're at it. That's James Gunn. Let's be real. James Gunn is good at doing those type of weird characters. He did Starro in the Suicide Squad. He did Rocket Raccoon and all these weird characters that nobody knows and stuff. And that's his thing. I would like to see that, honestly. If the James Gunn fans really want what's comic accurate, they will do it. James Gunn will take notes and say, you know what? We have to add Batmite to the Batman. You have to. You just and another thing too, in Superman, don't forget when he goes through those what it was like pocket things, pocket dimensions, I don't know. Um Apparently they could use that. What are they gonna do? Pocket versus pocket, I don't know what those things are called. Whatever. They're like portals. It goes to different universes. And now James Gunn's saying that they have over 1,000 universes. Yo, you might as well. Like, yo, just go ham with it, James Gunn. Honestly, like if that's what you really want to do, go for it. Honestly, like at this point, it doesn't even matter. Just why not? Who cares? Are you excited for Nobody 2? Hell yeah, I want to see that one. I haven't seen the first one. Is it good? Hell yeah, it's really good. I have a feeling the first one is going to be better than the second one. The second one is looking like typical. I think it's WB that's making it. I'm not sure. But it looks a little bit like they added comedy to it, and it's like, nah, here we go with that, But the first one's really good. I highly recommend it. Go watch it. Like, I think it was recently on Tubi or stuff like that. Tubi, like, don't sleep, people. Watch Tubi. They be putting on good movies on that streaming service, and it's free. You don't have to pay, so that's even better. Who's gonna say no to free, right? So after James Gunn gets fired, what's going to happen to Peacemaker? We don't know. But what's another thing too? What I think is going to happen, this is just me speculating. Remember when James Gunn put in Creature Commandos that it showed all the characters, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Peacemaker, they were all dead. They're all done in that future nightmare, whatever the hell he's trying to set up. So maybe that's what he's trying to hint that later that's what's going to happen. And to be honest with you, that would be cool. Just end them like that, and meaning the characters that James Gunn is putting out, and like just end, I guess, the DCU with that, at least from his timeline. And because of course we already know that James Gunn's gonna go back to Marvel, and he's gonna bring back Guardians of the Galaxy for Doomsday and for Secret Wars. Nobody can come and tell me otherwise. James Gunn is gonna go back to Marvel, and he's gonna go back shilling for Disney, and he's going to be bringing back his Guardians of the Galaxy, because you know damn well, especially with that Star Lord movie. Notice how they haven't said anything about it. So who else is gonna be able to do Star Lord besides James Gunn? That's him. That's all James Gunn right there. He's good at that. I'll be real with you. At Disney, he was good with these weird characters and all that stuff. Here at DC, nah, I'm good. Like we don't need you. Like straight up. All right, so I'm telling you, characters like Batman are not for James Gunn. Yep, I agree with you. It's not. He doesn't really care about these characters. He's even said it. So that's no surprise. Cornball Sweat is a flop. The true DCU must return, and it will. It will, my friend. It's going to, for sure. No doubt about that. Gunn needs to make Pink Panther remakes. That silly, that goofy stuff is what he's good at. LOL. Yeah, that's exactly what he's good at. Honestly, like that's what I'm saying. Like he should just go ahead and do Batmite. I want to see that take with him. I want to see what he could do with that. Nobody has done that. I would like to see. I don't even know nothing about that character. I know that he looks like silly because I don't know. I don't even know who he's supposed to be, but whatever. If James Gunn could pull it, let him do it. Yeah, that's how I see it. Just bring in Robert Pattinson. Just might as well merge the universe, and who cares? Just it is what it is at this point. To be real with y'all, Batman is more of James Gunn. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly James Gunn's alley, and I wouldn't oppose to that honestly. I would say, yo, just do it, make it happen. Universal's making nobody too. Oh, okay, so it's Universal. Yeah, check out the first one. The first one you're gonna like. It's really really good. The second one I want to see it, but I'm not as excited as the first one. But I want to check it out. I want to see it. It's really good though. Tubi rules. Hell yeah, Tubi. Yo, don't sleep on Tubi, man. I'm watching this movie. It's old. It's not new. With Christian Bale. I just probably saw like 40 minutes of it today. I just started seeing it. Damn, what is it called? Damn, I forgot. But it takes place like I guess during the Civil War time with cowboys and stuff like that. It's Christian Bale, the guy that plays was this dude on the Marvel movie, the dude that got canceled. I can't remember his name right now. Jonathan something, whatever. That movie's good. It's on Tubi right now. And I'm like, damn, this movie's pretty good. So yeah, it's entertaining. That's all that matters. It's not like no superhero stuff, but it's like a real movie where it just talks. It's cowboys and during that time and stuff like that. But it's really good. They don't play around with that movie. That's really dope. Gunn wants Peacemaker as the main character of DC. Yeah, that's one thing that I don't like about what DC is allowing with James Gunn. They're letting him literally take the center spotlight with Peacemaker. I'm like, dude, do you not care about any other character? Like, Peacemaker gets more attention than what Superman is, and we already know that James Gunn doesn't care about like these characters. He's even said it, but yet he's running the studio, right? Make it make sense. I don't know, just make it make sense. Every article Superman beats this last five DC flops. LOL. It's like WTF. So what did the Batman do? So what did the Batman? So did Deadpool. If Superman made 1 billion, it would be impressive. Then I say beat a record. Yeah, let's see. I doubt it. I doubt it because literally, I think they're gonna take out the movie. What is it on streaming? I think I don't know what day now. I know it's like within the next 2 weeks, I think, or something like that. So probably by like the 11th to the 15th. So yeah, Superman doesn't have that much time in the theaters left anymore. So all the steam and all that excitement, it's gone. People don't care anymore. They've already moved on to whatever's next and stuff like that. But it's crazy because Jurassic World is already reaching 800 million. I'm telling you, that is nuts. They already passed 750 million. And of course with this weekend they're gonna bring in more money. And that's good. That's good. And but notice how they don't talk about that. I really hope DC does a Batman Beyond movie with James Gunn or without him. Just give us a future Batman Beyond movie. Yeah, I don't see that happening. Hell no. Remember when we had Batgirl, a lot of things were gonna happen with that movie because remember the last movie we were supposed to get from the DCEU that was opening the doors to the multiverse was supposed to be the Flash. But then of course James Gunn came on board, he switched things around and he screwed things up, right? So let's cut the story short. We were supposed to get Aquaman and then we were supposed to get the Flash, which was supposed to quote unquote reboot, but at the same time leave the doors open for future projects. But we already know where James Gunn is headed. He doesn't care about none of these actors, none of these actresses, and he doesn't care about these characters. So what did he do? He gave his famous notes and screwed everything up. And with that, we were supposed to get Batgirl somewhere in there, and Batgirl was going to open the doors to Michael Keaton because he was going to retire and do the Batman Beyond movie that they were going to work on. But then they ended up scrapping that because remember, the Flash was still going to have Ben Affleck, Gal, and Henry. That it was setting and leaving things up in the air while Walter Hamados was there because they were leaving the door open to the Snyderverse. And now that James Gunn's coming out saying that there's over 1,000, what is it? I guess universes, multiverse. I don't know what the hell they want to call it. The point is that they have 1,000 universes out there. So that's telling you that the Snyderverse is still out there. So my question is, why is he picking and choosing characters from the DCEU going over to his universe? It's like he's slowly trying to like screw things up, so there's no way to come back whatsoever to what Zack Snyder left. That's what I feel. That's just me speculating and stuff like that. Let's see. What's the other goofy character in Batman universe? I have no idea. I really don't know. I don't even know these characters. I have no clue. They really need to fire James Gunn, Peter Safran, David Zaslav. Yeah, don't forget. All right, we're in August. Apparently, Peter Safran's contract is going to be up sometime now in the fall. So this is what the rumors going around that they don't want to renew his contract. This is why you don't see Peter Safran on the spotlight anymore. Notice that at San Diego Comic Con, it was all about James Gunn. How come we didn't see Peter Safran? Because his contract is coming to an end, and he's low key gonna get out of WB because he wants to focus. The rumor is that he wants to focus on his production company. So whatever it is he wants to do, yo, more power to you. Do what you got to do, but just leave WB already, you know? So that'll be one down. Then we got two more left, meaning James Gunn next year, November 2026. Because remember, Peter Safran came on board the WB before James Gunn, and then he selected James Gunn. So James Gunn has still a year and probably like 2 months left of his contract before it expires in 2026. And then rumor has it that WB doesn't want to renew his contract because he's cost the company way too much money. So they don't want to move forward with him. Now the question would be, where does David Zaslav fall into all of this mess after and now? Because that's a very important question. So we'll see as things start playing out. Gun lovers don't want to talk how Jurassic World is doing good. Yeah, they don't. They fear it. You know, it's like Batfleck said, you smell that? That's fear. That's exactly what it is. You know, the James Gunn cultists can't admit it. You know, they know that Superman is DOA, and they know that Jurassic World Rebirth is crushing it. They know that it's dominating the box office. But you don't hear Disney and you don't hear uh, nobody else talking about it, right? You don't see how come Rotten Tomatoes is so quiet. How come you have all these other articles not saying and reporting it? But we know the numbers don't lie. Jurassic World is about to make 800 million at the box office. You know, F around and find out it might make $1 billion. I'm telling you, it might make $1 billion. But they're up there, so that's the real good thing. Imagine James Gunn, his Batman movie is the same copy of Batman, Batman and Robin back in the '90s. Yo, I wouldn't be surprised. You know what? Just bring in George Clooney. You already brought him in the flush, so might as well just continue that if you want. We know Gunn's writing Batman Superman movie next, so the posers can compare it to Batman versus Superman. Yep, that's exactly what he's doing. We know he's just trying to do that. He's low key trying to work on all that. What's your favorite Fast and the Furious movie? Mine is the first one, and the one that it came out in 2001. It was simple and fun. The first one is a classic. The second one is amazing because the second one they literally filmed it where I used to live at. You know, when they made that movie, literally down the street. You know, that was literally where I was at. I remember when the cars were racing, when they blew up the where the what do you call this? It's like a warehouse or whatever it is. I remember seeing all that. Like, yo, that was dope. But yeah, one and two is my favorite. And from the most recent ones, damn, I think I gotta say maybe probably eight, either seven or eight. Yeah, one of those two. I like them all. They're all fun. You know, they're good movies. So I can't wait for the next one. But I think they're delaying it, or who knows what's happening. But they need to hurry up. Guns Wonder Woman going to face backlash. No way that they can beat Gal Gadot and her music. Nah, hell nah. They're not gonna be able to outdo Gal. They won't. They just won't. There's no way they're gonna beat Hans Zimmer with that. Hell nah. Hell no. You see, Ayer gave up on the Ayer Cut. Yeah, I saw that. He has no backbone after sucking up to Gun. That's what I'm telling you. You know, like, look, I'm gonna be real with y'all about that. I know somebody said that. This is like the second or third time he does this. He's just shilling. You know, it's like, dude, like, you know, like honestly, that makes me not even want to fight for the Ayer Cut. And we're literally like, we're like 3 days away from the campaign of release the Ayer Cut. I'm like, why you got to do this right now? Honestly, I'm like, come on, man. Like seriously, James Gunn is not going to release as long as he's in power. He's not going to release the Ayer Cut. I'm sorry to tell y'all, but that's the fact. He's not going to because remember, James Gunn has personal problems with Jared Leto in real life. He's not gonna go and say, yeah, let me go put a movie that Jared Leto's out there. He's not. He's not. It's his ego. He won't let him. So it just sucks, man. Honestly, just seeing that, it just makes me not even want to fight for that. To me, the Fast and Furious franchise could have ended with Furious 7. Just my opinion. Yeah, they could have literally ended with with the third one, and that's it. But you know, I kind of like where it's gone. It's gone out of control, but I like it. I don't know. I don't know. I enjoy it. Kind of weird that Gunn doesn't didn't announce the supposed sequel to Superman at San Diego Comic Con, but instead announces it on social media. It seems like his DCU is dead. Yeah, it is because he has no. There's no future. Everything stops. Notice everything stops with Supergirl, and whatever he has from now until 2026, I'm sure that David Zaslav said, "Yo, you have whatever you have time remaining to prove yourself. You need to get us out of this debt." And that's why he's trying to do Clayface. He's trying to do. Notice that they're not even talking about Lobo. The only thing we heard recently is that they extended the scenes and the shoots for Lobo in Supergirl. And everything pretty much ends at Supergirl. There's nothing else coming after Supergirl. And everything that we're getting right now, Peacemaker season 2, that's still, it was there in the plan since the beginning, from James Gunn. So of course that's gonna happen. We might even have a third season of Peacemaker. Don't be surprised. From here until next year, they probably might put out one more, and that's probably gonna be it. But there's not they're not really doing anything, and they're not even making money, which is the important thing that they should be doing. But they're not. WB really wants its own head. Uh, of DC. Why not get the guy who's making the money and had a clear vision? Why not bring back the Snyderverse? Because they're idiots. That's why they don't know how to make money and they don't want to make money. WB's afraid of making money. WB Shields and James Gunn trolls are trying to sabotage Fantastic Four for Superman. Yep, that's exactly what they're doing, and it's really stupid, crazy, and childish. That's what they are. And James Gunn fans say Zack Snyder fans are cultists. Yep, they're the real cultists, though. The James Gunn cultists and toxic. Yep, they are the definition of toxic. They talk so much crap, that they're keyboard warriors. So, they're gonna talk all that smack. We must do it now for Leto. He deserves justice after all the fake fans and Gun hating on him. Yep, yep, yep. Regardless, we're still gonna be talking about it on August 5th. What is release the Ayer Cut. So we will keep on talking about that. Bet David Ayer getting incentivized money by WB to give up on the Ayer Cut publicly. Yeah, could be. Yeah, they could be doing that. That's a good point of view. I never thought about that. That could be another thing too. Because remember, David Ayer is also working with WB. He just put out some movie. I forgot what it was called, and I just recently saw what is it, Beekeeper, and that was pretty good. I was like, damn, okay, that was pretty good. Let's see. Christopher, what's up? All right, I know you're a collector. So just wondering if you have the Kotobukiya yeah, the play arts. I mean, the Kotobukiya kits, new DC 52 Justice League figures. Nah, those I don't have. They are some of my favorite. I have all. I have them all. Nice, nice. Now, when it comes to the Kotobukiya, the only ones that I do have are the Mega Man figures, the Mega Man X. Those are the only ones that I have, and I'm probably missing like three more, just because they're repaints. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna get that, just because, it's just a repaint of the same figured. I'm like, I don't need three of the same versions. But yeah, I do collect the those model kits and stuff like that. But that's just with the Mega Man stuff. Now, when it comes to like DC, of course, I got McFarlane, Mattel. Those are the main ones that I really collect. But yeah, no, like the 52 and stuff. Nah, I'm not really into those. I only have from what the DCEU were, and what we got with Zack Snyder, from and the Ayer Cut, and I mean Suicide Squad from David Ayer. That's the only stuff of DC mainly that I have, and of course some Keaton stuff. I'm waiting for the McFarlane to drop the Batman Returns line. I'm buying all that shit, all of it. I need all of it, including the duck with that penguin, that GameStop exclusive. I need that too. I don't know why, but I just want it. I'm like, damn, Batman Returns. That's my movie right there. Honestly, that I gotta have that. Finally, we're gonna get it because the figures that I have are the old Kenner ones, and I'm like, yeah, I want some new versions and stuff like that. So, yeah. Le Cab will have Man of Steel 2, fix the wrong that was done. It could be more profitable. Yeah. Yeah, they could do that. They could do that. But I think this is just me speculating. I think all of that it's gonna happen on HBO Max once Comcast comes into play in January. Things are probably cooking right now behind closed doors. Do you like My Hero Academia? Hell yeah, I love My Hero Academia. My character's Bakugo. I like the first three seasons. Everything after that to me was just a filler. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. I'll be real with you. The first episode of My Hero, they won me. Honestly, it won me. I was like, yo, I'm freaking hooked. That first episode has so much heart. and it just defines what a hero, you know, with that universe is. It's just like, yo, like that episode broke me. I was like, damn, yo, that ending, you know, with the mom and with All Might when he's talking and stuff like that. Yo, that right there, it's heart, man. That right there was deep. I was like, man, like they knew what they were doing. But yeah, I feel you. The first three seasons, they were crushing it. Now it's like I don't even know anymore about that. Hell yeah, restore the Snyderverse. You already know it, Pedro. What's up? You know it. Super. What is it? Super flop flopped. Hell yeah, down to the ground. Warner Brothers never believed or valued DC as a brand. Is the reason why they're so desperate to make DC like the MCU, but they keep failing, and DC is ruined. Yeah, DC is completely in a mess. It's like, have you ever like try to pull out like some wired headphones or anything with a wire and it's all tangled up, you know, like pulling out wires and it's like, damn, you try to untangle that mess. That's WB right there. Completely a mess like that. Like it's ruined to the next level. It's crazy. I miss All Might. Should have never killed him off. Honestly, in my opinion, the most interesting character in the anime. Damn, I didn't even know that they killed off All Might. Damn. Thanks for letting me know, though. I don't care. But damn, I didn't know that. I thought he was powerful. That nothing could happen to him. Damn, that sucks, though. But yeah, it is what it is. Uh, hey, if you could have an advice for somebody to get into their own comics, what would it be? Very simple. First, pick out what gets your attention. Don't go after what everybody's going. Go after what you are interested in. Because sometimes people are going after, oh, read this one, read that one. Get what gets your attention. Like, for example, you walk into a comic store, you're going to have 1,000 books around you. You're going to have manga, you're going to have comics, you're going to have, what is it, graphic novels, you're going to have everything. You're going to be like, damn, where do I start? First, ask yourself, what are you interested in? Are you interested in Batman? Are you interested in Superman? Are you interested in anime characters? Are you interested in action, adventure? It all depends on what you like. Then from there, you start looking. Like, let's say, for example, you're into, I don't know, Batman. Look into what style catches your attention and what the story is about. Usually they have in the back cover or in the inside, it'll tell you more or less what's going on. Because there's so many, honestly, there's just so many. That's the bad thing I don't like about comics, that you don't know where to start because it's overwhelming. And that's what this industry doesn't, they don't really fix that. And that's one thing I love about manga. You just jumped in and you're like, yo, all right, bring me up to date. Okay, you want to read book 50. Okay, that's gonna bring you up to date. All right, cool. Because manga, you have like One Piece that I think they have over 60, 70, 80 books. And you're gonna be like, yo, where do I start? Yeah, you start from the first book. But if you want to be brought up to date, they'll, you know, the community will tell you, hey, look, this is where it picks up and stuff like that. So it really depends on what you are into and the style that you as a reader want to go with. I'll be real with you. When I enter a comic store, I usually go to either, it depends, because sometimes I'll see some comics and I'm like, damn, that stands out. I like the cover. But then when I'm reading it or glancing through it, I'm like, this was garbage. You know, like I just don't like the inside. So sometimes, again, you have to look at what catches your attention. Like right now, this is just me. Right now, a new Mega Man X comic book just dropped. It literally just came out a few days ago. I just got it at the comic store probably like 3 days ago. I haven't read it yet. I have it right here in front of me right now, and I have to read it. But I love the art. I love the art that it has in the inside. And now they're gonna expand there and they're gonna add more stories to it. One, I'm a Mega Man fan. Two, this is the series that I'm into. Three, the art already sold me. So I'm like, okay, cool. I gotta go with that. Recently, they also made a crossover with Power Rangers and Godzilla. I like both, so I picked up that. It's like 6 books. So I'm like, you know what? Might as well. So it all depends on what you really want, and you know, you just go from that and stuff like that. But there's so much that you can pick, but you can enjoy everything that's out there. I mean, for the most part. The face of David with what is it? Eddie is cringe and stupid. The face of Eddie and Edie is cringe. I'm not sure what that one's about, so I don't understand that one. Explain to me because I have no idea. The face of David with oh, the face that I put. hold on, which one? The face of damn. Break it down because I don't know right now. I'm so lost. David Zaslav and James Gunn remind me of all the supervisors I worked, and like Zaslav and Gunn, they were they were stupid, incompetent, trifling, and made life on the job awful like Zaslav and Gunn with DC. Yeah, you know what? I think we've all been there, so I can relate to you with that too. And it's just the poor management. When you have poor management at any company, everybody is gonna be feeling it. Everybody's gonna be like, "What the hell?" And it just happens. It comes with it, I guess. But again, with this company, I don't know how far it's going to go and how things are going to end. But at the way that they're going, I think David Zaslav in the end is just going to sell most of the assets of the company, and dude's going to try to cash in, and he's going to end up writing out. He's going to end up abandoning ship, and he's going to end up being, you know what? I don't even care as long as I sell this company. That's what I think is going to happen. I could be wrong, but I think that's where it's heading, and the way that he doesn't care, it just makes things a lot more worse. So it's like as I don't know, as we see it, it's just this guy doesn't care. David Zaslav does not care of what's happening to the company. He only cares about his pockets. So he's like, as long as he's able to make some money one way or the other, that's good enough for him. And it sucks. It really, really sucks. So that's what this company is at right now. The footage of Cena trying to get with the crowd to clap for Gunn at Comic Con shows how desperate they are to get the perception of fan approval. Yeah, I agree with you with that one, Nate. That's 100% true. When you see it, okay, I have no problem that John Cena was there and he was dressed up as Peacemaker. That was cool. He dressed appropriately because that's a con. You want to go, as a cosplayer, whatever. So it makes sense. That was cool. I like that. I like that they did that. What I didn't like was, dude, you didn't have the clap. Nobody was clapping first. And his forced clapping, like trying to tell everybody, come on, come on. And then you see James Gunn, like he looks at him and he points at him and he's literally cringing. He's like, you don't gotta do this. And then he has no other choice because everybody's looking at him. And then you see James Gunn's wife next to Peacemaker. And notice the cameraman doesn't even focus on her when that's happening. But you see her get up and she starts clapping. Then they show you a different angle where she's clapping. And then now everybody's forced to fake clap. And you can see it. It's very, very cringe. It's very uncomfortable just watching that. I'm like, damn, they forcefully made everybody clap, and it's like the shilling, like it's the shilling that I have a problem with. That it's annoying. It's very annoying. But that's what this studio wants. Again, San Diego Comic Con, the biggest con that they could have done a lot of marketing. They didn't announce Superman 2. So clearly it's telling you that there's no Superman 2. And not only that, I know somebody asked him randomly, like a day or two after Comic Con, if he's doing anything for Superman 2. And he's like, what sequel? Like trying to tell you, hell, there's nothing, like there's nothing. So he's writing something else. And a lot of people are speculating that it's probably the world's finest or whatever it's called. But I'm not interested. I really don't care, honestly. This is why, like I said, you might as well just throw in Robert Pattinson's Batman. Just make another Batman with that. Throw in Batman if that's what you're trying to do. Who cares? Just put something out there. But he's not. He's not. Because in the end, James Gunn's gonna want to do what James Gunn wants to do. And I just feel that he's just screwing everything for everyone before he's done next year, before his contract is up. But who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen? Anything can change, and things could surprise us last minute. What type of anime do you like? And also, what would you do? What would you change about DC? Okay, anime. It's kind of hard to say, but when it comes to like, I guess like the mainstream thing, My Hero Academia is one. Mega Man is my top one. We barely get anything with them. That's why I'm like excited. We actually have a comic book on them. But yeah, I would say like in that, I like the One Piece on Netflix. That was pretty dope. I was trying to watch the episodes, but I'm like, I don't have time. It's too much. It's just way too much, and I'm like, I'm not gonna catch up on those episodes. So the show was pretty cool. I did like it. Season two, I can't wait for it. So yeah, I would say those are pretty much it. What would I do to change DC? Um, First, one big thing is, and this is what I'm doing with my comic, it's always consider your fans. Are the fans gonna like this? Are they gonna not like this? For example, like in my comic, I am not going to put no type of agenda whatsoever. I'm just not, because I don't care about it. I don't care about nothing that has to do with that. And I know, as the fans and the viewers that you are, you don't care about that either. Nobody cares about what their sexual preference is. That nobody cares about who's dating who. No, no, I don't care about that. I just want to know what this hero's about, what this villain is about, and let's go with it. That's all I care about, in the story. What timeline are we on? What connects, what doesn't connect, and if it doesn't connect, explain it. Why it doesn't connect? Why did it go and deviate to another route? Like that. Those are the little small things that I would really fix. And mainly, I would, if I was like one of the big, I guess, person in charge or whatever, I would be like, look, you as a director, do your thing, but all this shit needs to make sense. That's it. It all needs to make sense. You could do your vision however you want. You could do the movie you want, how you want your take. Just make this shit all make sense. That's how I would go about on it. And that's what these companies need. They need somebody like that. They need somebody with balls and courage to be able to tell them, hey, this is not working. Let's fix this right now. No more excuses. No more excuses. Time has passed. Let's get our shit together. Let's apologize to the fans and tell them, hey, we screwed up, but we're gonna make it up to you. Hell, if you go to a restaurant and hell, they bring you a dirty fork, and you're like, hey, can I get a new one? They're gonna go above and beyond if it's good customer service. That's what it's about, customer service. You're gonna be like, yo, we're sorry. On behalf of the company, we apologize, but we want to make it up to you. How can we make it up to you? That alone tells me, as the customer, you care. But when you don't do that, like WB and Disney, and all these IPs, look, for crying out loud, Star Wars. I'm not a Star Wars fan, but I see and I hear a lot of Star Wars fans complain, and they're like, "Yo, fix it. Don't do this. We don't want that." And that's what they're doing. They're doing the opposite, and they don't care. This is why they're losing money. That's what happens when you don't give the fans what they want. Your fans are gonna be like, you know what? I'm just not interested. That's it. I try giving you too many chances, but it's just not doing it for me. And that's what they're lacking in. So I would say that would be the important thing to pretty much hammer down and go about on it. Exactly, good stories. Yeah, you have to have good stories. They don't have to be the best stories. This is one thing. Look, okay, I'll use this example just because it's in front of me and it's what I'm right now at the top of my head. I'm familiar with this Mega Man comic book that they just put out. Okay, it's literally the video game, but in a comic format. I could look at it from two point of views. I could look at it from the positive and negative. I could be like, damn, they literally just copied the video game and threw it into a comic book and they just sold it to us. I see what they're trying to do to milk it. Or I could be like, you know what? Damn, we haven't had no Mega Man X content in forever. I'm taking it and I'm grateful we got this because it's true to the source. And that's where I want to stand at. It's true to the source and that's what I care about. There's no agenda, there's no message. It's just the character literally from the video game brought into a comic book. And I like that. I could back that up. And I'm like, I can't wait for the next book to come out. Just because I'm a fan of that. I can't say the same thing about DC. I can't say the same thing about Marvel. And I really can't say that about the industry because the industry doesn't care in the end. There's so many video games, and that's another thing too. When you have video game companies doing the same thing as the movie entertainment industry, it just doesn't work for anybody. It doesn't work for the company that's putting out the game because now you're trying to sell us an expensive game, but I'm not gonna buy into it because I already know what it's about. People talk about it. People do reviews, and when they don't really, once they put you on blast and they're like, "Yo, this is what it contains," especially when it has agendas, people don't care about that. They really don't care. People just want fun, entertaining hobbies. Like That's what I like about retro gaming, that you just put in the game and you forget about real life and you get sucked into that game, meaning you feel like you're in that world. But when you have video games that are literally trying to tell you, hey, oh, this is what's really going on, like in the real world, I'm like, yo, for that, I turn on the news and I watch the news. I don't care about what's going on. I want to get away from reality. And that's what these, industries are not doing. And that's what I want to do with the comic that I'm working. Like I just introduced it to y'all. That's what I want to do in my comic book. That I want to have it where you, as the reader, are seeing why these things are happening as they're unfolding, while they're taking place, and what it's setting up. All of that's happening at the same time. You know, it doesn't have to be messy. It doesn't have to be unorganized. It doesn't have to be a whole cluster of this and that. Just keep it simple, but it doesn't have to be perfect. And a good story, that's all it is. Is just keep it simple and keep it entertaining. But they just lack on that. DC needs Snyder. Yeah, when it comes to the cinematic universe, they really need it. It's proven by now. It's proven. Nothing without Zack Snyder has worked, and it'll never work. And it's sad because, not that because of Zack, but it's because of the level of quality that Zack produced for them. And WB knows that they'll never be able to get to that quality again. They know it. They know it. They're trying to do everything shortcuts, and it doesn't work. And for them taking shortcuts, I think it's costing them more money trying to go the cheaper route than it would be if they were just to go, you know what, let's just do what we were supposed to do, with the original plan. But they have to learn one way or the other. But stubborn WB, they don't care. They'll rather go bankrupt instead of trying to please the fans. I think the same thing. I think the same thing. CS. I believe that's what Zaslav is separating DC Studios from WB and shifting most of the debt to DC, so they'll be able to maximize profits and sell off the IPs and properties. Yeah, it could be. It could be. Because it's just, there's a shift going on. There's a shift happening right now with this studio, and it's not the first time. This has happened multiple times with AT&T. It was so bad with AT&T that AT&T sold it to Discovery. That's how Discovery acquired it. Because look, I had at the time insight from people at AT&T, and they told me, and I was like, "Yo, like, what's going on?" And they're like, "AT&T doesn't care about the movie division. It's too complicated. They only care about the phone industry. This is why they sold it for cheap, and that's why Discovery came on board and bought them out." So they thought that by putting the Snyder Cut, they were gonna bring in so much money, which they did, because they got subscribers and stuff. But they were new; they didn't know how to use HBO Max. They had a powerful tool in the power of their hands, and they had no idea what to do. If they would have just stuck around and hired the right people, I guarantee you, the Snyderverse would have been restored by now, and it would have continued with AT&T. But since you have people at AT&T that don't know because they sell phones, they don't know nothing about this industry, they got scared and they say, you know what, screw it, just sell it. We'll take whatever and we'll stick to what we know, and that's what happens. But yeah, anything. I agree with you. I think that that's what David Zaslav is trying to do in the end. He's just trying to sell things where he's going to try to cash in, and when the boat goes down like the Titanic, he's going to jump ship um on his little small boat, and sail away, into the sunset, and be like, "Yo, I got my money. Everything else behind him, it doesn't matter." I think that's what's going to happen. Whoever buys DC Studios will have to eat most of WB's debt. Yes and no. Yes, because yes, they're gonna have to clean house and consume that debt and stuff like that. But no, because I'll tell you right now, this is how it could go down. Let's say, for example, another company does acquire WB. Give me 1 second while I drink water. Okay. If let's look at this from a business standpoint. If another company comes in and they buy out WB, yes, they're gonna take all that debt with them. But you know what else they can do as a backup? They can file that company, meaning WB, bankrupt, and everything gets cleared. Everything is done with that company, and they can move over like they're doing right now. They can move all their IPs over to HBO Max to the streaming service under another like subdivision of the brand that's no longer attached with and to Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers can go, they can file for bankruptcy. We see a lot of companies they do that all the time. We've seen Walmart's, Targets. We've seen big corporations do it all the time. Toys R Us, Toys R Us filed for bankruptcy, but then another company came, rescued them, and they're still in business. They're in Canada, I think, and yeah, I think that's where they're at mainly right now. They're here in the U.S., but they're not like big like they used to be. They're now with Macy's, so Macy's and them, I think they acquired them to a certain point, but they can fly by. The point is that yes, they'll be absorbing it, but at the same time, there's always strings you could pull where you gonna fall into a bankruptcy. They clear the debt. They probably take a few assets, and it's a done deal. So they can do that. They could do that, and they could get away with it. So unfortunately, sometimes in business, that's how things work. So they can do it. We need people like you, man in charge, because DC, WB, they're not great comics, aren't doing good games, aren't doing, they're not doing anything good. The movies, they're not doing great at all, and the animated movies aren't good. Yeah, it's just honestly, it's just common sense, especially when like the brand and these characters, the IPs. It's just not. It's common sense, and that's what these. I think that what the problem with this industry is, especially when you have executives and all these people in charge, is that they have too much money and they don't know what to do with it. And then when you have too much money, you lose quality because you're like, well, we own Batman, so we're gonna milk Batman regardless, and we don't care about the fans. We're still gonna make money. Okay, but you're turning off most of your audience. Look at Superman. Superman was on top when Zack Snyder was there with Man of Steel and with Henry Cavill. There was no need to reboot, but the studio felt, hey, we're gonna reboot, but it's not because of the studio. It's the ego of some of the executives. They were probably, well, I don't like Zack Snyder. I don't like David Ayer. I don't like this whole Snyderverse. I'm not down with that. No, we have to stop it because our company is just not focused on that. Okay, you got away from it. What has worked? Nothing. And instead of it getting better, it gets worse. They're struggling to make back their budget. That's how bad it is. They're struggling to make back their budget. That is an embarrassment. If I was working for a company like that, I would be like, this is a fucking shit show. This is a circus. Like, we're not making money. We're losing every week more and more. This week, we're in more debt than what we were a month ago. Like, what are we doing? It's very simple. You're not giving the fans what they want. When you don't give the fans what they want, your fans turn away. And that's where Disney is at right now. Look at how people are right now. People don't even go to Disney like they used to. Disneyland, Disney World, the theme park. Why? Because people are fed up. They keep on increasing the prices. They charge you for this. They charge you for that. They charge you for parking. For fucking parking. For parking, crying out loud. I'm coming to your theme park. You should be glad that I'm coming to your theme park. But yet you're charging me on top of that? You're charging. Shit, if it was up to them, they'll charge you to use the bathroom too. Because that's how greedy they are. And you know what that do? What that does to people like us? I'm not going. I'm not gonna go. Why do I want to go? To spend and overspend? Why? And in the end, all I'm gonna do is complain and be upset. Nah, I'm good. I'll take my business somewhere else. And that's what's happening with Disney, especially with all this, agenda and stuff that they're trying to cater. Who are you trying to cater to? Those people don't come out. Who are you trying to bend the knee for? Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes doesn't give a damn. Why are you so concerned about pleasing Rotten Tomatoes? That's my issue as a fan. I'm like, why is WB so obsessed with trying to please Rotten Tomatoes? Fuck Rotten Tomatoes. That's how I feel. I don't care. Rotten Tomatoes ain't paying my bills. Shit. Controversy sells. That's what's gonna sell. And that's what I'm doing in my comic book. That's why I'm being specific since day one. My comic book is not for everybody, and I'm aware, but I don't care. That's what I want. I want to cater to a certain audience. And my audience is mature people that are going to appreciate this work of art. That's what WB used to be. WB used to be that. They were dark, they were gritty, they were brute, they were badass. They were different from Marvel. They were ahead of the game. But then, oh, Rotten Tomatoes. Oh, Rotten Tomatoes. Who's Rotten Tomatoes? I don't care about Rotten Tomatoes. People are going to see what they want to see. And when they find out, especially what's going on with Superman, people are being scammed. Literally, Superman is a scam. That's just how can we get your money ASAP and screw you, we got your money. How come they're charging these tickets $30 a pop? Now they're trying to do the streaming thing for like what, like $30 also? It's like, yo, and people are paying it. That's the worst part. Don't support it. That's it. Don't support it. And you'll see how this company eventually is going to start shifting. Look at what they did with Sony, with Sonic. Remember the first design was ugly as hell. And they were like, oh, this is the trailer. And we're like, hell nah, we're not buying that. And then they said, nah, let's go back because it's too much backlash. And they redesigned Sonic and they gave us a proper Sonic. And look at where they are right now. In a better situation, making money with 3 films in, going to the fourth one. Good, bravo, congrats. You did it right, and that's all that matters. You're making money, you're keeping us, the fans, happy, and that's all that matters. It's a win win for both. But meanwhile, WB doesn't know what to do with their characters, and they have the biggest IP in the world. Marvel is on the same boat. They have no idea what to do with it no more. This is why they're trying to bring back the old cast because nothing that they're doing is working. That's the thing. And notice, without Zack Snyder, Marvel hasn't been able to put out a hit. They haven't been able to put out a successful movie. What is that telling you? You need Zack Snyder to rip off his ideas and copy him. And I'm glad that Zack Snyder never gave in when he had that slice of pizza with the Russo brothers because they were just trying to fish information and be like, hey, what would you do? In other words, hey, Zack Snyder, how would you do Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 if you had the opportunity? What do you think? Zack's going to be like, yeah, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that? Nah. He was like, ha 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 ha, eating that pizza and be like, I don't know, figure it out. I love that. That's what I love about how Zack kept it cool. Like he knows that that's his competition. And he's like, just do what you got to do. That's it. And they were trying to get information. It didn't work. Now look at the boat that Marvel is in. They can't put out any good movies like they used to because they don't have Zack to rip off and steal his ideas. That's what happens, you know. But one way or the other, they're gonna have to learn the hard way. So you know, it is what it is. So we'll see what happens. Throw away the DCU for they threw away the DCU for this crap. Yep, that's what they threw it away for, and this is what they got. They wanted that, they got it. Part of the reason AT&T sold WB is because WB's executives, fragile egos. Yeah, there you go. The egos couldn't handle being told what to do by people at AT&T who know nothing about how Hollywood works. Yep, that's what it is. It's always about ego, unfortunately. You know, besides money, it's always about egos. WB is now desperate to do DC versus Marvel movie. Yep, that's exactly what they're trying to set up. And guess what? Who? James Gunn and the Russo brothers. Oh, what a coincidence, right? Nah, this has been planned since the beginning. They know exactly what they're doing. Um, what's funny is people are not going to Disney World no more, but going to Universal theme park. Yep, exactly. And that's why Universal is expanding and doing that whole Nintendo. Oh snap! Epic. What is it? Epic Universe or something? The numbers are that they're going up for family vacation in Florida. Oh yeah, down here in Florida, everything's expensive, man. Like it's crazy. But I'm gonna tell you straight up, it's lovely weather and it's just amazing. So whoever hasn't been to Florida, you should go visit it. You know, like we welcome you. It's nice. You know, Universal Orlando. That's pretty dope. Let's see the Russo hacks. The Russo hacks have no success outside the MCU. Yeah, they don't. They really do not. Jack, what's up? What's up? We're here just vibing, chilling and stuff. You already know how that goes. John was the true maker of the MCU creator, not Kevin. Oh, interesting. And then Kevin just took over and just took all the credit as always and stuff. Loving all the great effort in the videos, live streams, lots of hard work. Appreciate it. I appreciate it, Mysterious. Yeah, man, it's a lot of hard work. You know, like sometimes when I don't upload, honestly, it's just because I'm just tired. You know, like I'm exhausted. Or I'm like I don't have anything to talk about. So you know, today, honestly, that video I just posted today was just for the hell of it. I was like, let me just turn it on, just record it, and I just started talking. Whatever came is just what I just put out there, and I was like, damn, like I'm surprised that video's gotten already a lot of views, and it's pretty interesting. But it shows you that people are feeling the same way, so that's a good thing. Things only got worse after AT&T gave the order to release Snyder's cut. WB was doing everything they could behind the scenes to undermine the Snyder Cut release, including making the preview hard to find. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. They were making it difficult because they know that they lost, and we're in the same situation right now. So, but in due time, we just have to keep on fighting, because that's what our main goal is about. Universal is also more popular than Disney in Japan. Yeah, especially with the movies and things now. More people are actually enjoying more of what Universal's doing. I think all this DC Marvel versus Marvel movie is them being desperate. Oh, extremely. I agree with you with that. They don't know what else. They've literally run out of ideas, so that's what they're trying to do. That so that's completely it's insane. Also, I know that you're not into Star Wars, but Star Wars is tanking, and Kathleen Kennedy does not care about the fans. Star Wars is now an agenda. Yeah, she's the one that's ruined Star Wars. I agree with you. I have a friend. He's really deep into Star Wars, and he's always saying the same thing. And he's like, I know how you feel about with DC and stuff, but that's exactly. But yet they keep her. They keep Kathleen Kennedy, and she still ruined the brand, and they don't care. And this is why they don't sell anything because of that. It's wild. It's wild. The hypocrisy will be strong when Gunn hires Whedon. Oh yeah, you know that Whedon is coming. Y'all better be ready. Joss Whedon is coming. He's gonna come over to DC while he's there, and that what's his name, Tika, whatever his name is for DC movie. Yo, if both of them come over to DC, which I wouldn't doubt it, yo, I'm telling you right now, we are done. We are done. It's over. I'm telling you, it's over for sure. For sure, it's done for the DC. Uh, John made Iron Man a hit movie, and it was dark with less humor. Yeah, the first. That's why I love the first Iron Man movie because it's just badass. It's. I really like it. I like the second one. Second one because it got War Machine. I think James Gunn was sneaking Matt Reeves' house, steal Batman script, put it Batmite. Uh, it's gonna be awful. You know what? Like I said, if they put Batmite, they might as well. I mean, at this point, DC is just nothing but like it's ridiculous. So what else can be ridiculous? It's just bring in Batmite. I guess I don't care. Honestly, at this point, I'm like whatever. If James Gunn can do it and pull it off, so be it. I guess I really don't know. It's a tough situation right now with with everything that they have going on right now. Let's see. All right. The fans ruined Star Wars with the hate of prequels. George went and sold it to Disney. Yeah, once he sold it to Disney, I think he came out. He said that he regretted it too. So, it's a shame when you have to say that you regret selling what you created and then seeing the monster that it's become. That's damn, that's crazy. Like he should have just said no. He should have just said, "Nah, I'm gonna take a break, but I'm gonna still keep doing my thing." But sometimes when that money and that check is in front of you, it's uh it's kind of tempting. But that's what happens when you have a price tag. Unfortunately, some people will give in and stuff. So it sucks, but that's what that is with that. James Gunn Superman is such a hit that it will be on digital August 15. Wow. Yep. Wow. That's pretty sad. That's in 2 weeks. Oh wow. Yeah. That's 2 Fridays from now. Yeah. That's get ready because that crap's gonna go on clearance ASAP. Just like all the toys and the merchandises from Superman. All that stuff is on clearance. Everything, everywhere. Walmart, Target, those clearance racks are about to be full to the top, and they're still gonna be full when they go to Ross and stuff because nobody's buying them. They're just not buying them. Nobody's paying like $40 for a McFarlane figure of Superman with a dog. What, the 5 people out of the 200,000? Because everything else is sold. It's in stock. Meanwhile, Jurassic World, I'm having a hard time finding these toys that I can collect. It's like, and then when they do restock them, they sell out. I'm like, yo, what the hell, man? Because everybody wants them. That's the difference. But they don't tell you that. You don't have the mainstream telling you that. You have to do your own research and you'll see it. Jurassic World's about to hit 800 million. Think about that. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. That's something Superman's not going to see. And I know that WB and all these executives, they're all hungry for that. They're like, damn, give me some of that. Nah, you didn't put in work. You didn't do what you had to do. Y'all should have just continued with the Snyderverse, and y'all would have been racking up stacks. Y'all would have been bringing in so much money. But, but Netflix is winning. because they got Zack Snyder over there. And say what you want, but they're making money. They're getting subscribers. Meanwhile, nobody's subscribing to HBO Max. Who's subscribing to HBO Max? I don't even know nobody that has a subscription to HBO Max at the moment because everybody's on Netflix. And it's like it is what it is. It's crazy. It really is. Let's see. Avengers Doomsday kind of messed up. Script is Kevin Feige. Yeah. Honestly, I hope they do something good, but at this point, I highly doubt that they're gonna be able to cook and do something real good for us and stuff. Secret Wars, I'm looking forward to. Doomsday, I'm gonna check it out because of course it's Doomsday and it's the Avengers. But how they're gonna go about on it, that's the part where I'm gonna be like, I have no idea. I really don't know. And hopefully now with the Spider-Man that they announced, that they're doing the next one, hopefully it's not bad. Hopefully it's good, like how No Way Home was. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I loved No Way Home. It was a good movie, especially seeing all three of them, back on the screen. That was dope. That was actually amazing to see all three of them on the screen at the same time and stuff. Hopefully they do something like that or much more, but we'll see what happens and stuff like that. So with that being said, I want to thank y'all for watching, for tuning in. I'm gonna wrap it up. I'm a little bit tired right now, so I'll probably come back tomorrow and do another live stream tomorrow. We'll hang out and stuff like that. But I'm about to get some rest right now and stuff like that. But I want to thank y'all for watching. If you didn't check out the announcement that I did with the comic book that I have coming out, go check it out. Go follow the social media and all that stuff. And I'm still working behind the scenes and all that good stuff. But again, I want to thank y'all for watching. I'm gonna catch you on the next one. All right, peace.